In this video, I will be showing you how to use angles in letter Z to solve problems. If you have questions, feel free to use the comment section or contact AJMsView directly through the number on the screen. Problem 1. We have to find n. Solution. Now, how do we find n in this problem? Of course, I can see two parallel lines with a transversal joining them together, which means this angle and this angle will be equal. But let me pretend as if this vertical line is not there by removing it and then putting an arc with a plus sign between n and 36, and finally represent them with a single letter, which means 84 degrees and x are equal. So stating that, my reason is simply because they are alternate angles, or they are angles in letter Z. But take note that this same x in this diagram equals n plus 36. So in my next step, I'm not going to repeat x, but I'm going to use n plus 36, which is equal to 84. Remember, we are not looking for x, we are to find n, but we are using this x to find n. So in this case, I have to collect like terms. If I do so, I have n equals 84 minus 36 degrees. So n finally equals 48 degrees. And that is what we are looking for. Let's proceed to the next problem. Problem 2. Take a look at the figure. What are we looking for? Find R. Solution. But before I proceed to the solution, I can spot two parallel lines here as well, one here and one here, with a transversal joining them together, which means 83 degrees, and an unknown angle here must be equal. So to do that, I have to provide an arc for it and then name that angle as S. So you are free to name it whatever you feel like naming yours. So I can now proceed to say S equals 83 degrees, simply because they are alternate angles, or they are angles in letter Z. So take note that we are looking for R. Now, from your primary school days, you remember you've been taught that sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. So I'm just going to borrow that theorem and apply it here. R plus S equals 180 degrees. Reason: sum of angles on a straight line. So take note that in my next step, I'm not going to repeat this S, because already I know S equals 83 degrees. So my next step becomes R plus 83 equals 180 degrees. So collect like terms. R equals 180 minus 83 degrees, and R finally equals 97 degrees. That was easy. Let's proceed to the next problem. Problem 3. Let's take a look at the figure, and we are to find x. We have a hint here where sine 50 degrees equals 0.7660, tan 50 degrees equals 1.192, and cos 50 degrees equals 0.6428. Solution. Now, before I proceed, I need to spot two parallel lines. This is one and this is another, and I have a transversal line that connects the two of them together. So which means angle 50 degrees here and this unnamed angle must be equal. So let's find an arc for this and then name it as C. Remember, you're free to name yours anything. So C equals 50 degrees because they are alternate angles, or because they are angles in letter Z. So if we proceed using SOHCAHTOA, I'm sure that sounds familiar, especially whoever is in GSS 3 should be able to deal with this. Using SOHCAHTOA, from the diagram, we know the angle, which is angle C, the adjacent, which is 20 centimeters, and we need to find the opposite, which is x. So which of these three ratios are we going to use? Is it SOH, is it CAH, or is it TOA? So from here now, these three are connected only with TOA. That means we have to pick and use TOA, where T stands for tan, O stands for opposite, and A stands for adjacent. I repeat, T stands for tan, that's you have to use that with the angle, and O stands for opposite, the side directly facing the angle, while A stands for adjacent, which is the down part. Now if we do that, tan C equals opposite over adjacent. Now my next step, I have to remove C and replace it with this 50 that we have here. So take a look at what I'm going to have. Tan 50 degrees. So I have removed C and then replace it by this 50. Now opposite, I have replaced it by X as well. Remember I said the opposite is a side directly facing the angle, while the adjacent has been replaced by 20, which is a down part. Now in my next step, I have to cross multiply. If I do that, X stands alone and equals 20 tan 50 degrees. So remember from the hint given to us here, tan 50 degrees equals 1.192. That means in my next step, I will have X equals 20 times 1.192, and when you multiply, X finally becomes 23.84 cm, and that is the final solution to this problem. Remember I said, if you have questions, feel free to use the comment section on the YouTube channel or contact AJ Emsview directly through the number on the screen. Thanks for watching.